Kijanangoma to News Tonight, this Monday, the 28th day of October 2024. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, members of parliament from Western Region refuse to approve the rationalization of Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Police identify 2 bodies from the DNA operations of the fuel truck inferno victims. Sipapa case, prosecution witness attached to CID department pins the accused Charles Olimu and wife. And in sports, Crested Cranes team ages out Democratic Republic of the Congo in an international friendly game. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Now, former leader of opposition and Mukungwe constituency member of parliament, Mathias Impuga, has advised the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs to withdraw the Coffee Bill 2024 to enable adequate stakeholder consultations. Meanwhile, a section of members of parliament from Western Region say they do not approve the rationalization of Uganda Coffee Development Authority into Ministry of Agriculture because the regulation role, quality, expertise and market of coffee will be lost, as we hear in this first story.
A section of legislators from Western Region have opposed the Coffee Bill 2024 that is meant to merge Uganda Coffee Development Authority in the Ministry of Agriculture through the rationalization of government agencies. They say that before going to vote at the 3rd stage of this bill, they will mobilize against the merger, which to them is going to affect the production, quality and market of coffee. People in this region had started to uproot tea whose cost had gone down to planting coffee.
Now, you have killed the tea, you are now coming for coffee. It is deliberate because they believe that the poor are easily governed.
We need some rescue. We needed bailout. For us who needed bailout, we've not gotten any bailout. The coffee industry, where we are doing extremely well and we don't need any government intervention. I uprooted tea, my 20 acres, I've planted coffee.
Member of Parliament Isingoma said the issue of coffee should not be tribalized, disagreeing with the notion of rationalization to cut costs. While Hoimauman Member of Parliament Nyakato says if this bill is passed, they are going to see monopolism in the coffee sector.
But in any process, there is what we call the trade-offs. You trade off the factors which led to the creation of UCDA have not gone away. Why was UCDA created?
The Ministry of Agriculture should know that they have failed to perform their work efficiently. Did recommend they come up with the tea policy. The Ministry of Agriculture up to now, we have very many petitions in Parliament of farmers, of tea, that ineffective. Then again you call a ministry, an agency like this, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, to also come, you kill it.
Member of Parliament Mbwate Kamwa explains that the period given of 3 years to rationalize UCDA targets the 2026 general elections.
They are not saying they are postponing it, they are giving it 3 years in faith. No, they want immediately after elections. That's when they want to take it away. Because members are scared that the attrition rate now, if we are to say we just close it, we kill it, now, few will come back.
Meanwhile, Mukungwe constituency MP Mathias Impuga says such a legislation needs to be made for the good of the people. However, the consultations were inadequate.
Name of the people, for the benefit of the people, and therefore it must have ears from across stakeholders. So a bill can be withdrawn. The Minister of Justice should not feel ashamed to return to his principles and advise a withdrawal of the same.
On the President's statements on rationalization, Poga says efforts of private people, individuals and other agencies must be respected.
Said that he is keen on rationalizing all consuming agencies. But we all know that UCDA is not a consuming agency, it's actually a producer. If you're going to manage an economy as delicate and fragile as ours, particular entities must thrive as facilitators.
The Coffee Bill 2024 has been tribalized, politicized and attracted a lot of social media critics, plus the President of Uganda coming out with statements to explain and clarify the importance of rationalization of government agencies. I'm Navka Farid and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Now, police have identified additional 2 bodies arising from the ongoing DNA operations from the victims of the fuel truck inferno, which happened in Chigowa last week, bringing the death toll to 26. Over the weekend, at least 22 bodies were handed over to the matched families by the Police Health Directorate. We have more in this story.
The Uganda Police Health Directorate has intensified the scientific identification of persons who perished in the fuel truck fire that occurred last week in Chigogwa along Bombo Road in Wakiso district. Through DNA tests, more 2 bodies have been identified, taking the death toll to 26.
We had reported that 24 individuals had been confirmed dead, but later in the evening we registered more 2 deaths. So as we speak, the deaths from the inferno stand at 26, where 20 are male and 6 are female.
Over the week, police with the State Minister for National Guidance, Geoffrey Kabyanga, handed over 22 bodies to matched families for burial arrangements.
We handed over the remains of victims who were recently burnt in the inferno. Now, as you are aware, we had to undertake a DNA process.
Meanwhile, police investigations in the causes of the fuel tank explosion continue. In a separate development, Interpol, in collaboration with Swiss Police Intelligence, have rescued an Indian national from human traffickers. Mukesh Nimeria Kumal, who was trafficked into Uganda, was later located in Tanzania under mysterious circumstances.
The Tanzanian police handed him to the Uganda police force, and on the 24th October 2024, he was brought back to Uganda as a victim of crime. The Criminal Investigation Directorate is handling the investigation of alleged kidnap with the intent to murder under CID Headquarter Reference E/181/2024.
Additionally, following special intelligence efforts in Tororo, police have recovered 2 guns linked to criminal gangs operating in Perejesel and Lukwapo, Kabong district. Komagum Rogers and Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC.
Uganda National Examinations Board, UNEB, has established a rapid response team at the headquarters to support schools in the submission of the Senior 4 continuous assessment scores before the 30th of October 2024 deadline. The board spokesperson Jennifer Kalule says the team will follow up on the portal for those schools being challenged with the innovation to submit results.
To beat the deadline for submitting Senior 4 continuous assessment scores, UNEB has instituted a special rapid response unit at the headquarters to aid schools challenged by the new system.
And what we have done as a board, we set up a rapid response team to help the schools upload the scores just in case they have challenges. Some schools have challenges in trying to use the application because it's a new application, much as we did train them. So we're trying to help them in case they have challenges. They can call our toll-free line to enable them, and then we guide them accordingly. Or they can come with a CD with the scores uploaded, and our team at the office can be able to support them in any way.
UNEB says no more extension time will be granted.
You can come with a CD and our team will help you to upload the scores in time. Please do note that if candidates do not have the CS scores, it will not be graded by UNEB.
The team will roll call schools that submitted results while identifying reluctant parties and reasons for the delay.
That is 0800 111 427 or 0800 211 077. You can call in case you need any assistance.
Meanwhile, police have arrested 3 for allegedly being involved in examination malpractices.
The 3 were allegedly found by UNEB Scout with a copy of the chemistry examination paper inside a laboratory where preparations were being made for the candidates. The accused appeared in court for plea taking on 22nd and pleaded not guilty. They applied for bail, which was not granted by the magistrate due to lack of sureties.
Under the new lower secondary curriculum, in the first set of examinations, continuous assessment contributes 20% of the total UCE mark, and the UNEB exam takes 80%. Patricia Nandago and Roger Skomagong for UBC.
To the courts of law now, where prosecution witness Chanimong Pius, a fingerprint examiner attached to the Police Department of Criminal Investigations, has pinned the accused Charles Olimu, alias Sipapa, and wife Shamira Nachiemba to have identified their fingerprints on some of the exhibits and at the scene of crime. The case is before Judge Michael Elubu of the High Court Criminal Division in Kampala.
High Court Criminal Division is proceeding with aggravated robbery case against Charles Olimu, also known as Sipapa, and wife Shamira Nachiemba, who are facing charges of aggravated robbery. The case is before Judge Michael Elubu. Court has heard the evidence from prosecution witness number 34 Chanimong Pius, a fingerprint examiner attached to the Police Department of Criminal Identification. Chanimong Pius told court how he got access to the exhibits from the investigating team to do fingers and footprint examination.
My lord, when the exhibits were received from the gateway, it was taken to the discipline under fingerprint lab, which is one of the sections under my department of criminal identification. And fingerprint section is one of my one of the sections under my department, that's the Department of Criminal Identification. My lord, if I can start from this first one, electronically captured, the name reads Charles Sipapa. This is police form 20D, electronically captured. Charles Sipapa.
Among the examined exhibits was the money and some items which he presented to court in photo form. Judge Michael Elubu adjourned the case to tomorrow, 29th October 2024, when the defense will cross-examine the prosecution witness. Deborah Namamonde and Viola Nansubuga compiled the story for UBC News.
News Tonight will now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
There is only one rule you must follow in order to be a winner. Number 1, defeat the undefeatable. You, step forward. I want you to box the air until it falls down. I'm not seeing it falling in. You see it falling in. Box, harder. Winning is hard, But with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy, Wanawoli.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. I am Rukidi Edward Kichenangoma. Now, residents of Chakatebe in Bukoma Simbi district have singled out poverty and unemployment as the drivers to death, mainly of the youngest generation. They have been attending the burial of the late Siraje Tamale, a border rider who lost his life in the 22nd of October inferno at Chigogwa along Kampala-Bombo Road. The Youth and Children Affairs Minister Balam Barugahara Atenyi attended the burial on behalf of government.
On Sunday, October 27, 2024, the Youth and Children Affairs Minister, Balam Barugahara, represented government at the burial of Siraj Tamale, a border operator who died in the 22nd October 2024 Chigogwa fuel tank accident fire. Burial was at Chakatebe village in Bukoma Simbi district. The burial ceremonies were held at his father's home.
Tata waffe president ow'omubiri tweyanza nnyo by'otukolera era tweyanziza nnyo ku lw'obuyambi bw'otuwadde ku lw'omwana waffe.
Kitalo nnyo okuviirwako muganda waffe ono.
The burial seemed silent as the arrival of the remains of the late were reported to have been delayed. From Kampala, however, Minister Balam handed over shillings 5 million condolence message from the president.
President abasaasidde nnyo ku lulwe nga president w'eggwanga ate nga chairman wa cabinet mwe tutuula. President asabye Mukama awumuze ekiwumulo eky'emirembe omugenzi Siraaji era abawadde olubugo lwa bukadde 5. Ebiseera ebisinga babatika amabugo tegakola ki? Tegatuuka. Bade sabani amanyi okubala. Chairman amanyi okubala ku speed. Chairman mbalira sente zino ombulire ziri meka. Zimbalire mu sente za Museveni.
In a delivered message from the president and the prime minister, the two discouraged youth against idling.
Kulange president ansabye mbategeeze nti anyolera wamu nammwe nti era abasabya abavubuka mwenna muligokola emirimu egy'omu nnimiro n'emirimu emirala egiyinza okuvaamu ssente mwewala ebintu ebiyinza byolabanga ddiiru. Buli kyolabanga ddiiru kiriko ekisiraani oba ekibi.
However, the burial was overshadowed by the parish development model talk, as many blamed their leaders for manipulating the government program.
Abagambye mweyambisa obusente buli bwe babawa obw'emiruka kakada kamwaka PDM.
Era abayimiridde wano tugezezaako buli kimu okuzisabako. Njagala wabeeyo ayimiridde wano agambe nti nze nazifunako.
Baatuka ekiseera nga oli ayita munne naye nga sente engejezaamu ne supiidi sente zibula bwe zijja zibera mu abo zina amakubo mwe zibulira abantu bazifuna.
The complaints forced local leaders led by Chisita Parish Chief to defend themselves before the minister.
Abantu bazifuna lwa nsonga abamu babagamba okuyingira ebibiina bagaana.
Wajjawo obuzibu obwajjawo bwali bwe buti. Twatandika PDM bwe twagitandika abantu basooka gitegeera. Abalala ne bagiwakanya. Abalala nti abatulimba. Abantu batakola ki? Batafaayo. Naye olwaleero abantu bamaze okutegeera nti ssente ezo gye ziri bafuddeyo nnyo.
Mourners were relieved by scattered confessions of the program beneficiaries, with Minister Balam promising to seek the attention of the Prime Minister.
Sente abantu bazifuna. Naye nze nkubira President omulanga nti omuluka gwaffe guno ogw'ekisiita munene nnyo nnyo nnyo.
The arrival of the body of the late Siraj delayed, although he was buried on Sunday 27th October 2024. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Minister of State for Education and Sports, also Ngariam County Member of Parliament, Peter Ogwang, has appealed to the office of the Prime Minister to intervene with food, tarpaulins and other necessities for the displaced people in Ngariam County. Now, this follows ongoing rains that have disrupted life in Katakwi district, causing waterlogging and destroying crops in the area.
Like they also told me about the challenges of the drugs for their cows. As of now, foot and mouth disease is coming back here because everywhere is waterlogged. There's nowhere cows can run graze when there's a lot of water. That's one issue they have told me. Issue number two, of course, they also need safe water. So we need these drugs for water, for helping our people take water, because we cannot trust the current water which is being got from this borehole. So there's need for clean water to be helped to our people. To be honest, 98% of this area, these specific villages going along this area, they're all doing badly off. All the houses are going to collapse. And what they have been told by my people here, that the more the rains keep on pounding, the more houses keep on collapsing. And of course, sometimes even water comes, much of the water comes from Karamoja. And if the rains are a bit slow here, water keeps on coming. Now look at the crops, look at the roads. All that destruction is severe. Now look at the church. You must have seen. Some people have now decided to leave these places to go and take refuge in shelter in the church. Look at the primary school there. People are there.
The situation is now worse because the community are sleeping in the school, the Palam Primary School, Ubulejete Primary School, Alengo Primary School, Ngariam Primary School. Then some people are sleeping in the Palam Health Center too.
Winning requires the stamina of a lion. But most importantly, it requires that you carry that water up to the top of the hill. However, you must use a spoon. Take the water now. Go, run, climb up the hill. 72 spoons. Faster, go, go.
Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *3#.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Minister of State for Gender and Culture, Peace Mutuzo, has emphasized the need to broaden social protection programs to reach a wider population and provide essential support. Ms. Mutuzo underscored social protection as a crucial tool for human capital development, benefiting individuals across demographics who may face unexpected challenges. We have more in this story.
This opportunity to welcome the Minister.
government has introduced programs over the years that include a senior citizens fund for people aged 80 years and above for social protection. The Minister of State for Gender and Culture, Peace Mutuzo, says such initiatives need to be expanded.
The government of Uganda has designed and is implementing a number of social protection programs to address various risks and vulnerabilities. They include social protection grant for empowerment that includes senior citizens grant. This targets older persons aged 80 years and above and is currently benefiting 306,796 older persons across the country.
But one of the things that probably you will want to know is that despite these interventions, we still have aspects of the issues of coverage, where we're looking at the coverage of social protection being quite very low. According to the data that we have, at least only 2.8% of the vulnerable Ugandans are covered by one social protection program, and this, of course, is quite very low and is below the sub-Saharan average of 17%.
To advance this agenda, the Ministry of Gender will hold a National Social Protection Dialogue at Serena Hotel in Kampala, where 4 key reports will be launched.
At this dialogue, the Ministry will launch the following key reports and strategies. 1, investment case for social protection in Uganda. Secondly, the social protection investment case. Third, the National Social Protection Strategy for 2024. Fourth, the state of social protection in Uganda's report.
But also, we also note that majority of our sector is informal, with about 70 to 80% of the person in the informal sector, but our coverage for social security is largely for the formal sector. We note that the NSSF, which has about 2.2 million savers, is only for persons in the formal sector, and those in the informal sector have largely not been covered by most social protection interventions.
Social protection initiatives build resilience and support human capital development, so expanding these programs will promote a sustainable future for all.
There are other aspects of the life cycle, such as vulnerabilities relating to persons with disabilities that don't have a particular specific intervention other than the special grant for persons with disabilities.
Crispus Arinitwe, Fiona Athaire, UBC News.
Let's have a look now at the following selected local and international currencies in our forex market.
Brought to you by... Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. Wendy Wanawoli.
Sports news now, and Uganda senior women's national team, the Crested Cranes, edged the Democratic Republic of the Congo in the international friendly game played at Stade de Mathias Stadium in Kinshasa. This was the first of the 2 games that the 2 teams are supposed to face off, with the other slated for Wednesday, the 30th of October at the same venue. The games are part of preparations for the team ahead of the competitive fixtures in 2025. Let's have the game's highlights.
That if I looked at when DR Congo played Senegal, we could see that the team possessed a lot of physicality. They had a lot of speed in the wings and up front. We also knew that their midfield was very compact, and we had to find a way to maintain to maintain the Congolese. And I must say I'm very happy that we could manage to do that and going a step further to win the match today. I think everybody knows that we are in a rebuilding phase. We know AFCON is in July next year, so we need to start building and find a cohesion in the team. And friendly matches really allows you to experiment, especially local and international players. We had 4 days to prepare the team, and our international players really joined us 2 days before we arrived here, so it was really, really difficult. But I think going forward, I really want us to play a certain way, offensively as well as defensively. So for the 4 days that I had, I used extensively and consistently work on certain phases of play so that the information can be processed. I'm demanding that we play a certain way, and we will play the next game, we will play the same way. We will not change. Really in the process that we change the way we play football in Uganda. I think the girls have bought into the idea. They're comfortable. You could see that we're trying to build the ball up from the back consistently. Yes, mistakes will happen at certain moments of the match. These things I know for a fact it will happen, but it is a process and we're looking forward. So all the mistakes that happened now, I knew plenty will happen, but we need to start finding solutions, and we will look at this match again. We will focus on really on group video analysis so that we can make sure that there's better cohesion, there's a better compactness in the way that we want to play from a defensive point of view. But overall, I think it was really a good display, especially the way the girls played. And for me, it's all about possession and kicking possession the way we try to minimize it as much as we can.
Now, before we leave you, let's have a recap of our top stories. In our top stories, members of parliament from Western Region refused to approve the rationalization of Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Police identified 2 bodies from the DNA operations of the fuel truck inferno victims. Prosecution witness attached to CID department pins the accused Charles Olimu and wife in the Sipapa case. And in sports, Crested Cranes team edges out to the Democratic Republic of the Congo in the international friendly game. And that's all we had time for. Thank you so much for having kept us company. I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. But do remember that our second and final edition tonight comes your way at 10 p.m. But on standby in the auditorium is my colleague Jerome Paul Sonko, on standby to give us everything that's going to be happening in the front bench. Over to you, Sonko.
Well, good evening indeed, and thank you very much for being part of the national broadcaster. To you, our dear viewer, because with our mandate of ensuring that we inspire you every other day with entertainment, news, information, and of course guiding you. Here we are again, here on your national broadcaster on a Monday night, like we normally do it here on the front bench. Tonight, though, we take a different twist in our conversations. We are taking you direct to the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. And of course, last week when we had the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you had concerns during the talk show. Now, this particular time, we are inviting you once more to ask those questions because they are going to be presented directly to the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Now, to quickly take you back, since the 1900 Uganda Agreement, you get to realize that Uganda has come over various land reforms. And of course, these land reforms have over the years been changing tremendously. But with the changes have come development within the ministry and various government efforts. Now, speaking of the same, fast forward 2024, you get to realize that despite the land reforms, issues to do with land acquisition, especially under the Milo land tenure system, have are yet to be fully addressed. And of course, we're going to be having a conversation on that. And if you, our dear viewer, have concerns regarding the same, you can be sharing your feedback using the hashtag UBC Frontbench. And also to just give you a simple breakdown of how the land tenure system in Uganda does operate, you get to realize that we do have the customary land tenure system. You get to realize we have the Milo land system that is pretty much common in the central region. We have the freehold land tenure system and the leasehold land tenure system. Now, the leasehold and the freehold are pretty much so common within the urban centers and areas. But of course, that will not be our conversation today, because we are going to be broadly looking at the Ministry of Lands and of course also looking at the aspect of housing and urban development. So join me this very evening. But first, let me introduce to you the panelists that I do have on set this very evening. First is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Ms. Dorcas Okalan, who joins us here on the front bench. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening.
All right. And with her is the spokesperson of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, sitting in for the minister who we were expecting to have this evening, but due to ministerial duties could not make it here on the show. Now, the spokesperson is none other than Dennis Obo. Good evening, Dennis. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening. Glad to be here.
Well, indeed. And this is the front bench, your direct interface with the government. So sit back, sending those questions. Our focus now is the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. This is the front bench.